Alright, so for lesson 2, students should be able to reason abstractly using place value understanding to relate adjacent base 10 units from millions to thousandths. If you notice, the only thing difference from yesterday's lesson objective is it went from concretely and pictorially to abstractly. So now students should be able to look here and notice that, for example, in A, the top A here, students should notice that this 36,000 times 10 is going to increase because we are using the operational multiplication, and it's going to increase by one place value. So this number is going to now be 360,000. And the same thing goes for B. And instead of increasing, because we're dividing, this number is going to decrease now. Number is going to decrease by one place value. So instead of being 36,000, the number is going to be 3,600. We notice that the decimal appears to have moved over one place here, and it appears to have moved over one place here. We're not moving the decimal, the entire number is moving, which appears to make the decimal move. Let's continue looking at C here. So we're multiplying. We know this 4 and 3/10 is going to get bigger. It's going to get bigger by one place value. So this 4 is going to move from the ones place to the tens place, and the 3 is going to move from the tenths place to the ones place, making it 43. 4 and 3/10 times 10 is equal to 43. And in the opposite way, this is going to decrease. You have 1 0 here. That's what this underline. When I underline, that represents my 1 0 and my 10. And we'll get into exponents, talk a little bit more about that. So now we have 4 and 3/10 divided by 10. So this number is going to get smaller by one place value. I still have my same number here, or my same digits, but they're in different place value units. All right. And I'll pick up the pace here. Now, if you notice, I have for E, I have 2 and 4/10 times, number's going to get bigger, times 100. I know it's going to get bigger by two place value units. So that's going to go over 1 2 times, 1 2 times, and end up being 240. I have this extra 0 there. You don't need that. That's just a placeholder because it's not actually representing any significant amounts. 0 is a placeholder. So I had it here, but since I have my 2 zeros, I put my other 0 there just to remind me. In the opposite way, now we're going to divide those same 2 digits. We have our 2 and our 4, but now the 2 is in the tens place and the 4 is in the ones place. So now we're going to divide. So I know I have my 2 here. I have 1 2 3 zeros. So I'm going to bring the number back. This is where my decimal would be. I'm going to bring the number back 3 place value units. 1 2 3. I need to put a placeholder in. My new number is going to look like that. Let's get rid of some of this junk here. Now I have 24 thousandths. THS at the end. Thousandths. Last two up top. We have 4 and 54 hundredths times 1,000. 1 2 3 zeros in my thousands. I know this number is going to grow by 3 place value units. So let's see. At 4 and 54 thousandths. 1 2 3 place value units. I'm going to get rid of all of that junk here. My product is going to be 4,540. Last one, H, you have 3,045 and 4/10 divided by 100. The number is going to go down by 2 place values. So I know it's going to end up being, my original decimal was here, move 1 2 places over. I know that that quotient is 30 and 454 thousandths. Now I like this for where it asks us to find the product down at the bottom because it shows us the difference between when we're multiplying by 10 versus multiplying by 100. And I put those lines there because this is going to move up by 1. This is going to increase. The number is going to increase or get bigger in both cases because we're multiplying. Here it's going to get bigger by 1 place value because we're multiplying by 10, and it's going to get bigger by 2 place value units because we're multiplying by 100. So let's take a look at that. We have our same original factor. I'm going to write them both out. Same original factor. And because I'm doing this abstractly, I'm going to do these both at the same. This one is growing by 1 place value, which is going to look like that. This one is growing by 2 place values, which is going to look like this. So this new number is going to be 145,600. This one is going to be 1,456,000. And let's take a look at A again. We started off with 14,560 times 10. So it grew times 10. That's our times 10 right there. We moved everything up 1 place value. So if you notice that original 0 that was in our first factor that was in the ones place is now in the tens place. Our 6 that was in the tens place is now in the hundreds place. Everything moved to the adjacent base 10 unit, increasing by 10. And here in this case, we had the same original factor, 14,560, but everything increased by multiples of 10 times 10. And if you look there, there's our 2 zeros. If we were to cover those 2 zeros up and get rid of these, you would notice that the number goes back to being the 14,560. But because we multiplied, we had these 2 extra place values that we added in, zeros, moving everything over to the left on our place value chart. So now that original 0 in our first factor is now in the hundreds place because we multiply by 100, and everything else moves over 2 place values. As always, hope this is helpful. Please like and subscribe.